Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78 and Methods Comfy Sunday. So glad everyone could be here to join us. We've also got another good friend of the program in the house, quite frankly, at Political Orgy on Twitter. Quite frankly, of course, a mainstay in the live stream game here on YouTube. We've got lots of good things to talk about today. A couple of different stories, a couple different tidbits, some stuff to discuss with Frank, some stuff with Methods and I. And please do remember to like, share, post this video on your favorite social media platforms. It does help us get through the algos. You guys know that they don't want you to see this. We want to help all of our friends make sure they get a chance to come join in on the conversation. What you're seeing right now is a funeral in Iowa. No, I'm sorry. That's a Biden rally. I believe there was 11 people there. 11 people showed up to support Joe Biden. We've got more than 11 people here watching this program. So thanks again, guys. Do appreciate it. We've got a lot to discuss. We are going to be getting to all of that in just a few minutes, guys. Before that, we've got to listen to a brief word from my sponsor. And thank you, everybody, once again for being here. Did you guys know that your assets are not actually yours when times get tough? So where is your savings? Do you have the permission to ask for them back? Well, if you don't have control of your money when things start to get tough, you're in trouble, and Noble Gold has the answer. A precious metal IRA with Noble Gold will let you have real hold on your own assets because they're yours, always yours. Not bits of paper, not promises, not excuses. Precious metal returns are set to explode over the next few years. So if you get in touch with Noble Gold and discover how you can keep your money safe when you need it, all you need to do is give them a call at 877-646-5347 or go to noblegoldinvestments.com and let them know that Red Pill 78 sent you. Or you can always hit the link below and get the free gold and silver investment guide. Once again, that's 877-646-5347. Tell them Red Pill 78 sent you. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Thank you once again to Noble Gold for sponsoring the program. Thank you once again to everyone who's here in the audience. And please do join me in welcoming my co-host, Methods. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, Red Pill? YouTube chat, you beautiful people. How are y'all doing? Can y'all hear me all right?
I got a 5x5 on my end. How about everybody in the audience? I see we've got several of my mods in the audience. Crystal Lynn is here. Jojo K is here. Hoping that my mother is here. Real Red Pill 78 mom. But yeah, how many people we got in the audience already? We've already got almost 800 times the number of people who were at the Joe Biden rally. 915 patriots here. Thank you also to Cheryl Van Y for joining with us as a member. Do appreciate it, guys. But as I always say, liking and sharing the program, getting it out on your favorite social media platform, sending it in an email to your friends, family, coworkers, anything like that is probably the number one way that we can help support the channel, guys. But I appreciate anybody who helps Methods and I both in our mission here. Before we get into any of the other stuff, I just wanted to say, Methods, I didn't know if I had gone over this with you yet, man, but I've got a contest that I'm running right now. I recently hit 185,000 subs. So in the effort to get to 200,000, I'm going to be giving away two $100 gift cards to two lucky winners here on the program. Between the date that I hit 185 and the date that I hit 200,000, I'm going to be picking a winner from two different videos, the video with the most number of views and then the video with the most number of likes. And then as long as you are subscribed and you have participated in the conversation and you know, you like and share and all that stuff, then you know, I'll find you in the comments below the video and then I will pick you as a winner. And hey, we've got our buddy Thomas here too. True Reporting. What's up, brother?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, man, that's a great idea for sure. I mean, I've just been watching your channel grow, and it's an amazing ride for sure. At 200,000, man, it shouldn't take that long. I mean, if YouTube had their way, then of course,
Yeah.
they've got me just throttled at 1,000 short of 100,000 on Twitter, and they're just not having it. They're not happy about it, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going.
No, it seems like every time you get close, they like knock you down a peg just a little bit.
Right, and we also found out a fun fact. I was talking to Steven, the one that was doing the bot chasing on Twitter. Love for the game.
Yep.
Great Twitter guy. I asked him, I was like, hey man, did you unfollow me? Which would be fine, follow who you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me a screen cap that he was following me, but on my page, he wasn't following me. So
That's
Twitter's being like extra petty lately. So so if I've unfollowed people by any means, I didn't do it. But yeah.
This brings me to an interaction I had on Twitter the other day. We talked about this. But before I say that, Star Karma, she says, much love to you both from Canada. Keep up the good fight. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you for that, Star Karma. Appreciate it. So there was a guy on Twitter, and I don't. Everybody, it's a learning experience on the internet, I always say. So he was upset that you hadn't seen a notification from him, and he hadn't gotten his question answered. And he said, if you're not following me on Twitter, then that means it's not where we go one, we go all, and it's all about you. And I had to chime in because I've seen people say this before, and I feel like the majority of people know this. The more people you follow on Twitter, the harder it is for you to see specific information. I mean, I'm sure, Methods and I have a similar thought process about this. We're tracking things online. And right. The more things that we have to track, the more difficult it is to filter it down to the relevant information. So unfortunately, that's why I don't follow everybody back. I can't. I tried until I hit 10,000 subs, or 10,000 followers on Twitter, and my thumbs were about to break off. They were bleeding. So I just had to stop following people because it was too much. You can't keep up with it. You've got almost 100,000 followers. I imagine your notifications have got to be just insanity, just bleeding from the eyes on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't try to draw too much attention to that, but no, my notifications are nuts. It actually crashes my browser sometimes when I try to keep up with it.
I bet.
But I get it. I understand it. Where we go one, we go all. We all follow each other, build the numbers up. We can reach more people. Completely agree with that. But yeah, it is hard because I didn't even use my timeline or my feed from other people for 6 months straight, because I literally can't find anything because there's so many different conversations happening, all that stuff. And I also found out recently I found out that somebody unfollowed me because they followed me, and 5 minutes later I hadn't followed them yet.
Yeah.
So they unfollowed me because I didn't follow them. And I don't know what to say. I'm trying, we're all trying to do that. I'll follow back anybody that's a great patriot. I try to every day, but yeah, it does get difficult. But you can't win over everybody.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that it's nothing personal. Like I said before, if I'm unable to answer a message, or I'm unable to answer a question, if I'm unable to answer an email, it's just, I've got 22,000 unread emails in one of my inboxes, and I've got multiple inboxes. I've got over 1,000 in another, and that's the one I'm keeping up on. So it gets crazy, but we appreciate everything that you guys have to say and send out, and that's probably one of the reasons I like the live stream so much, is because we get to keep up with it in real time in the chat, and even that, obviously we can't read all of it, but I think it gives us a much better 40,000 foot view of what people are thinking and feeling.
Yeah, most definitely. And getting to see a lot of the same names from over your weekend channels, and then watching, quite frankly, when I do, seeing a lot of the same names of the Quite Frankly crew.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's cool to be here in the chat and just see people get along and have conversations while me and you are just jabbering on about whatever.
Yeah. We were saying before the show, how cool was it that since I made the show live at 2:00, people were already chilling, just waiting in the chat, talking with each other, seeing what's going on, keeping up with the haps, and then we get here and people are already waiting. It's a great thing.
Yep.
Well, we had a couple of people I need to say thank you to. Gus Polito says, you guys are awesome. Please help me pray for Puerto Rico. Earthquakes are out of control. Yes, everybody, definitely. Please pray for Puerto Rico. I retweeted something, I believe it was 2 days ago, in regards to those Puerto Rico earthquakes. And it seems like there is a lot of activity going on there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a lot of activity going all over right now. It's hard to keep up with it.
Makes me wonder what's happening behind the scenes, because we know that there's like a ton of corruption taking place in Puerto Rico. Recently, there was kind of a changing of the guard. I know a lot of people got arrested. There's some ongoing cases happening. But I don't know. I wasn't aware that Puerto Rico got earthquakes until very recently, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know that much about Puerto Rico. Hey, Crypto Beast is here too. Hello, Steve. Good to see you. He says, Red Pill 78 mom, and I lived in Melbourne for 20 years. It was cool to see Red Pill Q Wagon there. Yes, you guys, I totally forgot. Thanks, Steve. I got to show you guys this. This is amazing. Let's see. We've also got Dana Finkler, where we bark one, we bark all, thick ankle dog face. What's up, Methods? Jennifer Small says, Twitter says you see the feed of those you most see. Well, I can say that that's not true. I get random stuff all day long. Ray Medeiros, thanks for joining. And then Roger Williams says, do Red Pill and Methods share these donations? While Super Chat not letting me do less than $5. I mean, $5 or more is fine, but that is abnormal. That's not normal. And no, we don't share the donations on my channel, but if anybody wants to donate to Methods, you totally can. It's Methods, I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Well, I don't usually promote it much. Yeah. I mean, you guys have helped me out so much with, my in real life problems that I've had, but yeah, it's Methods PayPal at gmail.com through PayPal and all that. But no, it's not a big deal. Super Chat's here. I mean, Red Pill's hosting this. He's got all these things going on, all that stuff. I just wanted to be a part of a show with him. We always talked about it. So no, just support the channel.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anything you guys do, it means a lot. And that's not to say that, things don't happen outside of this. I mean, like, Methods is my friend, and, it's never been an issue. We always work together, and any way that Methods has anything that he wants to do in the future, I will be there to support him 100%. And that's something I'm looking forward to in the future. That's all we're going to say. But we've also...
Oh, man, look at you. My DMs are going to blow up now. Thanks.
That doesn't mean anything, guys. I'm just saying I'm hopeful for the future. Okay. Okay, let me find this tweet, you guys, because this is definitely something you need to see. I do want to give a shout out to Jordan Sather for catching this and sending it over to me. Actually, I believe Disclosure Backpack retweeted Jordan Sather, and that's how I found it. But here, let me throw this up on the screen. You guys got to see this. All right, so yeah, if Steve, if you got to see this in real time, dude, that is incredible. So here it is. It's essentially, it looks like a hearse. I don't know if it was a hearse or if it was like one of those small trucks, but let's go ahead and take a look at the video.
Show me your car.
Okay, I will. Any day. Here she is. It's David Chesson. I'm from Australia, and I bought this a few years ago and decided to turn this into an advertisement for the Great Awakening.
You got QAnon on the side there, qmap.pub. Stroppy me, Red Pill 78. This is your walking billboard.
Oh, it is. It's my daily driver too, so everywhere I go, it goes.
You bought this for $300, you said?
I bought this for $300 and put my heart and soul into it. I gave it a respray because I knew some of the rust may come back, and decided to...
Have you ever had anybody ask you about this and you tell them?
Constantly and very often, yes.
Do they come back and either tell you you're crazy or thank you?
A lot of them come back saying, oh, thank you for letting me know, especially the people who are sitting on the fence. And they know there's something more out there, but don't know where to get the real information. And that's the trouble with a lot of these people, is there's so much disinformation out there, it's hard to know who to trust.
Yeah. So you got some people that you can trust right on here. Just not destroying the illusion yet, but you'll be putting that on there soon.
Destroying the illusion will be on there. ESETI will hopefully be on there if James agrees.
We'll get a few other people on here too. I want to get the
more the merrier.
Back shot. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Fresh from the Gold Coast.
I'll have to store been the illusion right
There
down
you go. There you go. Get it up there.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys, how cool was that? What an honor to be included with those people among there. David, thank you so much. I believe you sent me an email when I first started making videos. And I remember thinking at the time, I said, wow, this guy wants to put my name on his car? Like, that's kind of cool. And people are, going to end up seeing my name all over the place in Australia. And maybe that's why I have so many fans down in Australia, you guys. How cool was that? And I loved it when Jordan was like, well, you don't have Destroying the Illusion on there. I almost died. He's going to put it right at the top. That's good. I want to see an update, David. I want to see an update. That is so awesome. I do have a couple more thank yous. Oh, several thank yous. Let's see. Justin Daniels says, L. Frogger here. Thank you for the great lineup tonight. Red Pill, Methods, and Frank. Praying for you guys and all the great patriots in the chat. Thank you for that, Justin. JM said, sent directly from my Twitter jail cell. Baby Yoda says, try not to smile. You can't do it. Cool on the hearse. Stroppy Me is a cool cat. That's right. Stroppy Me. All those people on there are sweet. And I'm just, again, I am honored to be listed among them. Like, how cool is that? Kat Young says, how do I become a member? Kat, you have to be on... I believe you have to be on a computer, and then right on my my channel page, there is a button that says join. Pardon me. I'm sorry, I'm drinking my Monster that hit me a little quickly. You have to click join, and then there's a couple different things you can do. And then I know there's actually some people were concerned about, me providing things behind a paywall. But I want everybody to know that anything that comes out for the members also comes out for everybody who is a sub on the channel. There's just a slight delay. That's all that it is. But don't worry, I'm not holding anything back. The only thing that I guess is a real perk that the members get that the regular subs don't get is they get to tell me a video that I'm gonna make, but everybody gets to see it again. So there you go. And then White Rabbit says, Red Pill 78 and Methods, please follow the White Rabbit queue. My unfollow app keeps unfollowing you both. All right, the White Rabbit queue. I'll go ahead and do
Rabbit queue.
Hold on, but I'm going to do it live on the air because otherwise I will forget.
I'm doing it now, and people just have to take my word for it.
Yeah, but you guys, please don't start threatening me that you're going to use an unfollow app. The white. Ooh, my fingers are way too big. White. You know who I think I want to get? I want to come on the show. Methods.
Who's that?
AKA Real Dirty.
Hey, I'm good with that.
I would love to have him on. I'm going to send him a message because he just recently started streaming. It was on Periscope. I watched his stream the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard him on Patriot Soapbox, but I mean, anytime I'm covering, like if I'm an hour late on covering anything Fox News related, I don't even have to bother with it because he's already got a thread going.
He's good that.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely a great person to follow, and I'd love to have him on for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that is our official invitation there. We're going to give you a message after this. Monica Fee just gave a super chat. Thank you, Monica. And actually, you guys, if you're not on a regular computer and you would like to join as a member, I'm going to throw the link to do so in the chat box here. Hold on.
Right, and also while he's doing that, by all means, if there's other people that you guys want us to hang out with and chat on this channel, hit us up. Wherever. We're definitely interested to have these conversations with people. We've actually been discussing about doing guests pretty much every Sunday.
Yeah.
This first hour, me and him just talking with you guys, and then the second hour having on guests. We got a few that we're working on right now that's pretty exciting. But with that said, if there's other ones, just tag us, DM us, threaten them that they should be on, or whatever you need to do. Yeah. And it's exciting. But yeah, man, go ahead.
I was going to say, feel free to just spam us on Twitter. I've got my DMs open. But again, I get so many, it's difficult for me to see them. I tend to see, there's some people will just send me messages all the time. So then they're right at the top of my DMs. And I do tend to see them more often than not. But If you guys can, if you send me a message, then maybe try to do a couple of mentions on Twitter and say, "Hey, I sent you this message for a guest." Then go ahead and check it out. Then
if
please,
you want to nip the iPod one in the bud, because
yeah.
we'd love to have him on. Don't get me wrong.
I would love to have iPod on. I have asked him to be on the show before. He's a great guy. He said he watches, but he said that he's in a unique position and he's unable to appear on anybody else's show. I don't know what that means. Perhaps it's about his anonymity. That's kind of what I took it to mean. So he wants to make sure that that's protected. But Rich Wells says Rob Skiba. Don't know Rob Skiba, but I'll look up Rob while we're on the air here.
All right. Yeah. We've also got a request for Ardoc. He's a personal friend of both of ours.
Yes, I've been wanting Ardoc on the show for a long time.
We'll have Ardoc on, so me and you could sit back and just let our minds melt while he just blows it with all this crazy information. For sure. And of course, yeah, we'll have Dilly back on. We had him on for the special, but Dilly will be back on at some point.
Yeah, Kathy Faith said that iPod lives in a different country. That very well could be the reason why he's unable to appear on a live stream, because it probably would maybe be during his workday or something like that. I do need to say thank you to Nomad Janet. She said, awesome car. We all need our own QAnon cars. Yeah, I need to get a new Where We Go On, We Go All vinyl for the back windshield. Also, Stephen Andrajanic from, looks like that's from Australia, gave a super chat. Thank you. Daniel Turgeon says, you should try to get Jay Woodward of Woodward TV on your show. That's actually very interesting. I don't know how to contact Jay, but I am a subscriber of Jay. I've been a subscriber of his for a long time. I think he does great work. Meow. Go ahead before I do this one.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone for a second. Sam Tripoli, love to have him on. You've had him on before.
Yes.
He just recently followed me, so I'm quite honored if you are listening out there, Sam. No, we'd love to have him on here. This is a perfect show for him.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have Sam back on the show. I'm going to be on Tinfoil Hat podcast here this upcoming week. Biblical View. Okay, Rob Skiba. Gotcha, Rich. Thank you, buddy. Let's see. Oh, Denise, our guest from the Brexit show, says after Prince Harry was shown telling Disney CEO that Meghan does voiceovers, what? Meghan has just been offered a voiceover contract with Disney. Oh, yeah. That's how it works. That's how it works if you're a movie star or a yacht star, as Meghan was, or a Disney star, whatever it might be. Jeffrey Otero says, perpetually grateful for you waking me up, Red. Demosthenes. Hey, what's up, buddy? This, I'm not going to say it out loud, but hey, this guy, very special place in my heart. I do appreciate you, and I'm glad that you are here. Good to see you. Okay, so the other one was Meow Meow Kitty Poop. Great name. Gotta love that name. Derp State going down. All right, good to hear. I believe they are. And Berserker Bear says, thank you, RP78, Methods, and quite frankly. So yeah, thank you very much for that. And yeah, I believe that I think I'm going to do a couple of things with Sam. We were talking about doing a show for his Patreon. Also, obviously, I'm going to be back on his show, but I would love to have him here on the weekend show with Methods. Craig from Just Informed Talk. I don't know how to get a hold of Craig. I would totally have Craig on. He's a good guy. He does good work too. Do you watch Craig?
No, I have a problem with watching a lot of ones that I should. I build a list and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch, and it just doesn't happen because, like I always say, I chase butterflies. But one person said, or a couple people said, Roseanne Barr. Quick shout out to the new channel 5x5 Media.
Yep.
I don't think I told you about this. Roseanne Barr just randomly did a stream the other day, or I think maybe yesterday, and she was watching 5x5 Media. It's a fresh channel, and said that she wanted to have her own show on there and just live streamed it to all her people.
Wow.
So Roseanne Barr is paying attention to all this stuff. She said her favorite thing to do is to sit in her bed and research and do all that stuff. So yeah, if Roseanne, if you're listening to this right here, we'd love to sit here and shoot it with you.
Yeah, I it's funny is that I know somebody who knows Roseanne, and they had mentioned. I said I would love to have her on the show. And they said that they would mention something to her, but I never heard anything back about it. I would absolutely love that. I know that I've never seen her watching my show, but I mean, I haven't watched all of her streams, but I definitely saw her watching Space Shot. That was pretty cool. And how awesome that she was watching 5x5 Media. That would be a great, plus for them if they were able to get her on the show as a host. How cool would that be?
Right? No, good for them. No, they're good people over there.
Yeah.
Solid.
Love those guys. Soko, I'm looking at you. Berserker Bear, Kosto Zeviar joined as a member too. Thank you, Kosto. And Dilly, that would be Dilly, no? Well, Dilly is coming back on the show, definitely. We had Terry Bishop says she watches you. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. Allie B, welcome as a member. Hey, Allie B, how are you, sweetie? Good to see you.
Good old Allie B.
Good to see you. Oh, that's great. And Amazing Polly. I will say out loud that I have attempted to get Amazing Polly on the show before, and she declined. I've never seen her do a collaboration with somebody else, so I don't know that she does. But she said, "Great work, keep it up." But she didn't want to come on the show. I would love to have Amazing Polly on the show, though. So, guys, if you watch Amazing Polly and you want to drop her a line and say, Red Pill 78 would like to have you on for a nice, cozy chat on a Sunday, or, for a full 2-hour interview on the weekend, then that would be great. L.A. Marzulli. I love L.A. Marzulli. I've been following his work for a long time. Very, very interesting cat. Would totally love to have him on the show. So thank you for that, Patricia. This is always going to be something that we can use help with, guys, for sure, because this is a lot of information coming and going from our brains on a daily basis. I mean, methods, I think we've said before that we forget more than, I don't even remember how we said it, but forgetting more than we ever learn on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. No, trying to keep up with it. That's why I'll always just hustle out the information real quick, and then I move on. And if you ask me an hour later what that was, I have to go back.
Yeah.
So always lurking my own information to remind myself about things. But yeah, as far as the guest stuff, I mean, to tie a bow on it, we're going to be bringing on a lot of people, a lot of the friends that we have. Of course, we'll have Space Shot and AKA Mike, which is always fun. We'll be having a bunch of different people on that you guys see us hang out with on a regular basis. Bring them on here, talk about things and all that. But also people that Red Pill hasn't had on before. That'd be definitely cool. So I appreciate you guys, anything that y'all do about it.
Yeah. Man, I've seen so many names, but I will also say that X22, I've reached out to Patriot Hour before, never heard back from him. I've tried to reach out to X22, but I don't know how to get a hold of him. I've attempted to. Well, listen, we've spent a good half hour here, guys, just hanging out, but there's a couple of really important stories that Methods and I wanted to talk about. First off, right here, this first one right here, Cheryl Atkinson. Now, Cheryl is an investigative reporter, right? I believe that during the 44 administration, she was working at CBS, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't going to contradict me.
No, I'll let the chat do that if you're wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So Cheryl was allegedly spied upon by that former administration. She was covering, the incident in Libya back in September in 2012 and trying to get around the censor here. But she was covering that. Okay, it doesn't matter. They already got us. So, yeah, she was covering Benghazi. Well, we're going to say it out loud now. And they basically started spying on her. Now, she's actually suing Rod Rosenstein, a guy named Sean Henry, a guy named Sean Wesley Bridges, a guy named Robert Clark, a guy named Ryan White, not the poor hemophiliac who passed away from AIDS in the 80s, and unknown agents 1 through 50 of the Department of Justice in their individual capacities. So, former government agent admits spying on Atkinson. This is not just somebody, with a frivolous lawsuit against the government. We've seen people suing Poppy Bush before, lots of claims, no sauce. Well, someone on this team that was spying on Cheryl actually admitted to doing so. Now, the leader of that group was none other than Rod Rosenstein, or as Mike would say, Rod Nosenstein.
Oh.
And government hackers allegedly reported to the FBI official who now heads CrowdStrike. Who's that? That's Sean Bridges. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Right here, this guy, Sean Henry. Sean Henry, who now leads the infamous CrowdStrike, the same CrowdStrike who determined that the Russians hacked Hillary Clinton's server.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking through the information, I mean, she was digging into Fast and Furious, she was digging into Benghazi, she started noticing, some like technical glitches type things, started noticing the signs of being, tracked. And this is, and like you said, it's been admitted that it happened, but she got stonewalled, because that wasn't that Eric Holder, that was during his time. Uh, so she was getting stonewalled through the whole thing. But Senator Ron Johnson, that rock star is pushing it forward. He's like, no, we need to look into this. This has already been admitted because this is FISA abuse. This is very relevant. It's relevant anyways because, she had a crime committed upon her, but they used the FISA court.
Yep.
So that's definitely relevant to have now going on for sure.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and Crystal says her cursor was taken over too. I remember that. I remember her talking about that. Now, a couple of these names in here are very, very interesting. Do you guys remember the Silk Road? The Silk Road. That was the deep web website where you could go and order up anything that you wanted. You can order up, people. You can order up drugs. You can order up hits on people. Anything that you could do and pay for with Bitcoin, you could go ahead and get through the Silk Road. And there was a guy, Jolly Pirate Roberts, this guy out in San Francisco who was running the website, making millions of dollars a day. It was a lot of money changing hands. Well, they put together something called the Silk Road Task Force. I definitely tried to get Corticon on too. That's in the works, but he's a busy man. So Corticon, you are welcome on our show anytime, brother. I want to see you here. So they put together the Silk Road Task Force, which was designed to take down the Dread Pirate Roberts and the Silk Road. Well, in the process of that, they also stole about 1,500 Bitcoins, which is $10.4 million. And one of those men, his name was Sean Bridges, 35, of Laurel, Maryland, and he was sentenced to 24 months in prison. Now, I want you to notice that one of the names on this this lawsuit is Sean Wesley Bridges, Sean W. Bridges. This is the same guy, the exact same guy. I don't know which one of these people admitted to spying on Cheryl, but I can say with a definitive nature, the guy who was working out of Maryland with the FBI was also working with Rod Rosenstein to spy on Cheryl Atkinson is the same guy, the exact same guy. So it really shows the nature of these people and how how illicit their activities are.
Right. If Mueller's dirty, then Rosenstein must be dirty. Remember all that? Yeah. No, Rosenstein's a snake.
Yeah. Yeah. And right here, they show his name is actually spelled a couple of different ways. They messed it up, and I don't know which one of these is the proper way to spell it, but I can tell you they are the same people because it even says here in the article, Sean Bridges was a special agent with the U.S. Secret Service for approximately 6 years, operating out of the Baltimore field office. Between 2012 and 2014, he was assigned to the Baltimore Silk Road Task Force, a multi-agency group investigating illegal activity on the Silk Road, a covert online marketplace for illicit goods, including drugs. In 2015 and 2017, Bridges was convicted of corruption related to his government work and is now serving a prison sentence. I'm trying to see, does it say who admitted? Nope, it doesn't say who admitted to actually spying on her. But again, these people, they are some of the worst people that you can possibly imagine. The things that they're doing with the power that they hold is limitless. I don't think that if they don't care about spying on this person, if they don't care about murdering witnesses, if they don't care about intimidating people, the last thing that they're going to care about is the true completion of justice in situations where it is most important.
Right. I mean, if you remember the whole the watch list, quote unquote, that Bongino keeps bringing up through Yovanovitch, keeping an eye on all these reporters and investigative journalists, they have no problem with that. They're definitely keeping track, because that's a lot of crime happening, and on top of that, they're trying to cover up old crimes while still trying to commit new ones. So of course they're tracking people and doing all that. To me, it's more and more likely. FISA's court is so needed when it comes to, international terrorism and, all these crimes committed. But they keep isn't that woman that just stepped down? Didn't they just put in another black hat dude to take that job?
Oh, on the FISA court?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like they pick like the exact person that has been dogging Nunes through all of this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, come on now. If they need to, set it on fire and walk away and come up with something new, it's to me, I'm starting to become a fan of that idea, because even Gomer was talking about it that way. He's like, I don't even know if we need this anymore.
Yeah, I think honestly that they need something else in its place. They need to start fresh. They need to start with different people, and they need to start with a new process, something that is not going to be so easily abused. Because the reason that they've had such issues with it is that there's pretty much zero oversight. I mean, the court itself is the oversight, and they don't require anywhere near the burden of proof that is necessary when we're talking about normal warrants. I mean, they're just taking everybody's word that what they're telling them is true, and it's really, really, really crazy.
Right. Yeah. Because there's a lot of conversation lately. I've been saying, and it's a good point. These were legal crimes in the sense of, they got the documentation. It was signed by the right people. They kept doing all these things, but it's technically crimes. It was abuse of the court. So yeah, creating something entirely new and having some autist like Nunes run that show, get somebody who's so on point to make sure and write it in a way that it can't happen again. It's needed.
Yeah, I really would love to see Devin take the lead on that. Dana Finkler said, I want to see you and Eddie Bravo do a show. I would love to have Eddie on the show.
Eddie Bravo went ham about Q. I know a lot of y'all watched it. I watched it earlier today, like the rest of it. Yeah, I was watching it earlier today, kind of just killing time for the show. And he was just like, any chance he got, man. He was like, yeah, Q, let's talk about Q. Q said it. And Joe would be like, and didn't have anything else to say towards it, because he doesn't. First off, you could tell he didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
But watching Eddie just full blown make all the talking points, and yeah, he's a firecracker.
Yes.
You can see what he's talking about. Like, we all can decode it. But to somebody who doesn't follow this at all, he was all over the place. But it's exciting to see him. Even seeing the word QAnon come out of Joe's mouth multiple times, because he had to, was really cool to see, because that wouldn't be for all of us people and everybody in this chat, Twitter, everywhere, YouTube, making so much noise about QAnon that it literally became relevant on a show that was supposed to be about mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and that podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast, gets more daily viewers than I believe like all of the news stations combined. I mean, we're talking many, 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 many millions of views a day. Like, Joe Rogan has quite the reach. No matter what you think about him, no matter if you agree with his politics or not, or you agree with what he does on the show, he has reach. He can get to people. And when Eddie Bravo comes on his program and says that, that has a lot of weight and a lot of power. So my hat's off to Eddie Bravo for your bravery and your passion. Now, you know what else it reminds me of? We had another big incident like that this week. I sent this to you yesterday. Mark Levin appeared on Dan Bongino's show yesterday, and at I believe 36:05, he references Q and this movement as a point of actual reference. Because of Q and because of the things that we have uncovered, we know, he used the term, it's statistically impossible. So I really do believe that Mark Levin is following this whole thing closely.
Right, and this will be the first time everybody in this chat will see me and Red Pill debate on all this stuff, because that would be great, double meanings and all that stuff. But I've personally watched a lot of news, and yeah, so I get it. I love you, brother. I really do, but I have no problem disagreeing with you, especially on this. The Kennepack, I don't even know how to say it, but if you watch a lot on the news, it'll be referenced that way. It's like a inside term. That poll, the Kennepack, look it up. I tweeted it out. It had to be the bad guy in that case. They call it Q polls. It's just a short way to say it, because I don't know how to pronounce it. But he said that, and other research centers. Well, that's a research center, and it is referred to a lot. So yeah, I don't mean to you guys just got to watch me crush Red Pill's world on live in front of 3,000 people. I'm still the villain here.
It's okay. No, dude, I'm glad you set me straight. I saw that message that you sent, and I thought you were talking. There was like a sometime in like the last month, somebody had said, a Q poll. And they sent it to me, and they were like, "Oh, we're talking about Q," and I said, "No, we're talking about Quinnipiac." So I corrected them on that one, and now you just took me to task. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
My bad.
No, it's okay. Dang, I want to listen to it again now, man, because I don't remember exactly what he said. Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's an argument that he said Pew Research with a P instead of Q, but I'm just saying, when I watched it, when it was sent to me, I think by you and a few other people, I was like, I've heard it referred to as Q polls before, and I just type in Q polls in the search engine for news, and you'll see it referenced by people, especially when they're quoting people in the media.
Okay, all right.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for Mark Levin to just be, on 8kun right now, sifting through information.
We're gonna go ahead and all right, hold on. Let me get this pulled up here, guys. We're gonna listen to it. And you guys tell me what you think. Because I am not adverse to being wrong in this situation. Okay, here we go. 36. I think maybe we need a little bit of point of reference here, so we're going to go back.
Real quick before you hit play,
Go ahead.
WW1 Grandson, explain evergreen methods. Well, I mean, evergreen, of course, we know where was the call sign or the Secret Service code name for Hillary.
Mhm.
But evergreen is also used in the media when it means the news is relevant. I think I'm kind of breaking it down to simple terms, but evergreen means that it's very it's very needed for the topic at hand and what in real time.
Mhm.
But no, research that too. By all means, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So also, Ray Anderson said Mark Dice and David Harris Jr. would be awesome. That'd be cool. I don't know if I can get a hold of them. They're pretty big. Mando, like from Mandalorian. Mando Q, this is the way Q. Yes. I love it. The Patriot Hour posted something about the Back to the Future symbolism. I'll check it out. Hey Jude, some kibble and cat food. Thank you for that. Herkimer Fudwaddle says, today's The Patriot Hour is all about Looking Glass and who controls it. I would like to see that. I know that Craig at Just Informed Talk just did a show about that either yesterday or the day before. Then Vicky Richardson says, have you guys ever heard of Somerset Belanoff? Worth looking into. I haven't, and we can go ahead and check it out. But here, let's listen to Dan and Mark's conversation, guys. Tell me what you think.
We got to get our vote out. Everybody has to take this seriously. You have to be your own precinct captain. Get your family members and friends out. We say this every election, but you're exactly right. We leave the entire Washington establishment, business establishment, other establishments out there that are going to be spending money surreptitiously. There's going to be a lot of votes of people who shouldn't be voting. Always cuts for the Democrats. So it's going to be crucially important now more than ever that we get out as many people as we can. And let's be honest, Dan, the Democrats cut against us because the Democrats have spent more than a decade now trying to change the population of the country. Now, if they were trying to change the population of the country, that resulted in more Republican votes. They'd be building 50-foot-tall walls and moats and have sharpshooters up there, and they'd make sure nobody got across the border.
Right.
But because they know, and we know statistically from Pew and other research centers, so there's no point in playing games about this.
Yeah, Methods. I'm gonna call an audible in that one, dude. You're right. I'm wrong.
I still love every single one of you, I promise. Anybody that thought it was that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry for leading you astray. I didn't put it out. I just sent it to Methods. That's it. All right. And yes, I have heard several people say something about a low rumbling in the background. It's the furnace. I am on the road. I don't have my normal studio with sound deadening panels. So sorry about that, guys. If you hear that rumbling, that is something I can't do anything about. All right. Well, dreams crushed. There we go. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. So you guys remember that terrible thing that happened not too long ago with the Saudi military trainee? That guy right here, a real winner. He was Dave Yonda. Yeah, Rich, hope you like the coffee. Rich, hey. Yes, Rich, I love the coffee. Thank you so much. I would love to have Dave Yonda on. I've actually reached out to Dave, haven't heard back from him either, so if you guys want to tell Dave Yanda, come on, or Janda, sorry, to come on the program, I would love to have him on. But so, thank God the military decided to do something about this. Methods, did you know much about this program? That I love you too, Laser Troll. Did you know much about this program, that we were even doing this, that we have these guys on our bases and, they just didn't bother to look into who they were, what kind of person they were, and then we would train them and just send them back out in the field?
No, I definitely didn't know about it till this happened, because I remember everybody freaking out saying, why are we even doing this? But yeah, I mean, it is tragic that it happened in all that case, but they did do the digging on the other ones that kind of went MIA right around that time.
Yeah.
And I think they picked up, like I was telling you earlier, I still need to look around, but they picked them up on other things, not necessarily helping out, this monster here that did this stuff, but they picked them up for other things. Like I think some of them got busted for child PORN, if you will, and other things like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about this program at all. Yeah,
I never heard any follow-up on those guys, the ones that went missing. But so I don't know if these are the same people that they're referring to, but they looked into these clowns, and they ended up finding a couple that they determined should not have been here on American soil, and they are expelling them. Some Saudi nationals expelling them. So this is good news, in that they're getting rid of people who don't need to be here, who are potentially going to cause some trouble. Kathleen Glockner says, love you guys and God bless. God bless you as well, Kathleen. Thank you for that. Red Pill Doc says, check out the QQQ Trust shown on the sticker below, banned several months back. It has gone up 25% since then. Dumped weed stock and got this. We'll see. I don't know much about that QQQ Trust. Of course, I remember when that happened. Did you read the packet, Red Pill? I don't know what packet you're talking about. If it was something you sent in the mail, haven't gotten any mail for a while. I know that people have sent me mail before and it never arrived. So if that was one of you guys, then sorry about that. If you've sent me something, then thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm not able to respond to the mail because it's going to come directly from my home address, and I don't know how to get around that. But I will say thank you on the air to everybody. Mama Bear AZ says, RP, did you receive the Trump travel mug and Q sticker I sent? Love you guys. Keep up the great work. God bless. I definitely did not receive the Trump travel mug, or I would be using it on the air. That could be something that is still on its way to me, because I have to use like a mail relay, because I'm not actually at that address, because otherwise, I wouldn't be able to go outside. I gotta maintain a little bit of privacy. Right. Yeah. So the mail gets sent to me once a month. So, I get a big stack of, usually, letters saying thank you for your work and, glad to support you. I have gotten some stickers. There was actually somebody who sent me stickers. They have a store, and they sent me stickers with Thomas's face on them. I wasn't sure if they thought they were sending it to Thomas, or if they knew that they were sending me a sticker of Thomas. But it was cool. It was cool nonetheless. There was a couple other people in there. Use P.O. boxes, return address, drop in the public box. Oh, well, the thing is, it would still show what city and state that I'm in, because I'm not in the city and state where the P.O. box is. Yeah, I know. Definitely. I've considered doing the P.O. box, but again, it's gonna be from my actual city and state, and that's just not something I'm comfortable with yet. Maybe sometime in the future I'll figure something out. If you got to smoke, get off the vapes and go clean cigs, nicotine only. That's what this is. This is nicotine here. I just like the clouds that I get from it, as opposed to, hold on, I actually do have a new one, guys. Methods, will you take it away for just 1 second? I got to grab something.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about vaping since I don't vape at all. All right, what's going on, chat? Let me see what you guys are talking about. Clean cigs. I don't know what he means by that either. Yeah, Texas Q Patriot, don't compromise anonymity. Yeah, I'm all about that. Red Pill doesn't even know my name. I do my best to keep it that way. No offense to anybody, but to keep, I like my life outside of this. I like to keep it separate. I like to be able to, I also like to be an enigma to where, anybody that's trying to attack us. Because I mean, if you remember, I know you remember Red Pill when Clown Anonymous was coming after everybody and trying to dox people.
Yes.
They tried. I mean, I even had my phone go off like 9 times in a row. Somebody was trying to change the password on my Twitter.
Oh wow.
During that time specifically. So no, it's all good. You'll just know me as Methods.
Yeah.
Not a problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely had people try to figure out who I am or where I'm at. And I'll be real honest, you guys, it's kind of scary. Like when you realize that somebody's, trying to figure out where you're at. I mean, I so love the ability to go out into the real world and just be able to live my life and not have to worry about, people being weird with me or something like that, because it's a scary thing. And, I got a family to worry about. So right here, this is a new type of vape that I got. You refill it right there. And it's just nicotine. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke CBD or any of that stuff. Did somebody else pop in on our... Oh, you chatted with me, Methods. Was that you? Methods, are you there? Oops. Okay, maybe Methods had to step away for the cats for just 1 second. Let's see. Okay, gotcha, buddy. Gotcha. All right, guys. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to get my... There we go. I got it back. There we go. All right. So, yeah. I'll be the bad guy calling you both out because I've been in this way before Q, but Mark Levin only matters because another Mark Levine card carry commie. Okay. Also, Boo Vudon said, will the groundhog bring earlier indictments? God, I sure hope so. EO2 Dave said, DaveJanda.com, Operation Freedom. Yep, for sure. Floricio, good to see you, Floricio. She says, the Dems on November 18th, 1990 quietly replaced the McWarren-Warner Act of 1952 that would forbid Muslims from holding office. This is why the enemy is now holding office. Pelosi, Cheney, McCain, Biden, Gore, Kerry, and Schumer. Yes, I do remember that. Thank you, Floor. Then Red Pill Rabbit says, ask Frank how to get a hold of Dave from X22. He's on his show periodically. Thank you both for your hard work. I will definitely do that. Stop being a soy boy, lose the e-vape, and learn jiu-jitsu. I don't eat soy. Nancy Chang, thanks for that super chat, too. Yeah, so look, I've got 4 different vapes here, guys. Different flavors, and it's all nicotine. I smoked a lot in the past, lots of cigarettes. And so I had to stop smoking at one point, and someday I will stop vaping. But yes, they all have flavor. This is mango. This is that unicorn. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This one is the unicorn. This is blueberry lemonade, and then this is blood orange raspberry. That's the one. All right, so we had another story here I wanted to talk about real quick. This is big news, you guys, and I didn't bring it up on the last 2 shows because I already had other things planned, but there are major protests taking place in Iran right now. There's been numerous videos of people in Iran protesting. There's a government shoot down, of course, of that jet that killed 176 people. People are upset there. There was a lot of Iranians on board. This is a picture from Rife University, it looks like. And Stephen Wilson says, good work, young man. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, buddy. So there is, candles being lit. There are vigils being held. Iranian students from the best universities of Iran are protesting against the Islamic regime following that shoot down. Now, we still don't know if that was on purpose, you guys. They're admitting that they did it, but they're saying that it was an accident. It very possibly could have happened on purpose, but I don't know what they're going to gain from that. Unless there was somebody on board that was going to give some type of information. Maybe they were trying to, what do they call it? When you're trying to leave a country and give up your citizenship. Happened in Russia a lot during the Cold War. I can't remember the name of the term. Don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, to take down that plane and kill that many people and say it was an error, a human error, during all that. I mean, because we don't know what was told, because they lie to their people, just as much as our media lies to us.
Defect.
So, hey, oh, by the way, we also took down a plane of all these Americans. Look at us. Don't revolt tonight. To me, it's not like they're like, they say that it was unintentional, but what if it was a plane full of Americans? Like, I don't see them saying, "Oh, that was a human error." It's like, no, we had to go. We got you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say about it. Like the reports that are coming out that they're like trying to clean up the area real quick, and they won't hand over the black boxes.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. This has pulled Trudeau and Canada into the mix because they had so many Canadians on there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I do know a lot of people are digging on the flight list to see, and there's some interesting background stuff on it. Me and Red Pill will probably report that back once people get done with it. But with that said, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, just shooting it down and just saying it's an accident, I mean, it doesn't pass the smell test at all.
No, it doesn't. Well, our good friend Frank from Quite Frankly just arrived. Frank, are you there, buddy? We got audio?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
There you are, Frank.
Hey, what's going on, Methods? What's going on, Red Pill 78?
Good to see you, my friend. Real quick, I got a couple of quick thank yous. Conservative World Patriots, doing a great job, guys. Trust the plan. Thank you very much for that. Nick L. says, sure seems to me that the Ukrainian government followed to crumbs from Anons and requested an investigation from the digs. And then also Jennifer Small says, have you guys seen the 3-hour version? Ooh, yes, I have. This is a dangerous thing on YouTube. This is like the only video that you can't get to unless you already had the link prior to it. But from JFK to 9/11, everything is a rich man's trick. Shows what we are up against. Disturbing. J. Mac linked it. Yes, that is an incredible documentary, guys.
Yes.
It's the kind of thing that will get you kicked off of YouTube, unfortunately. This is this is the bread and butter, in my opinion. This is what YouTube came up on. You used to go to this platform to look for things like this to watch. Information you were not going to be able to find anywhere else. Things that were just dripping with truth and uncomfortable truths, okay? Let's just get honest about that. A lot of hard things to swallow in this video, but it is backed up with sauce. This is one of the best documentaries I've seen in all of my years. Absolutely love it. And it just goes to show how badly they don't want people to watch this type of content, because you can't link to it, you can't share it, you can't comment on it, you can't even share it from the page itself. You got to grab that link and then send it to somebody directly. Frank?
Oh, that one in particular, JFK to 9/11, everything is a rich man's trick. I have suggested and linked that to anybody in my life I care about, to be honest. And when I started, especially when we were thinking about what was going to happen after December 10th with all the YouTube, the community guidelines changing, this and that, I went throughout my playlist that I put everything together, my interesting shite playlist that I put together for people. And I have all types of stuff like that in there that I just pile in. What I started doing was I started actually making a private archive of all of my favorite documentaries. That was one of the first things I made sure I had on my own drives. So if I ever wanted to watch it again, the only thing about JFK to 9/11, which is so thorough, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I have John Barbour coming on my show next week, so I'll be able to have my first real official JFK conversation. Is that he minimizes the documentary, the documentarian minimizes the threat of communism a little too much.
Yeah.
What I think it really tells the tale of is, you have this insidious intelligence community that was created post World War II that became pretty much autonomous, and especially once we go into the 50s and 60s, has less and less oversight since they start actually working with private defense contractors. But on top of that is you actually do see a fascist and a communist, a pro-Nazi, pro-communist battle going on right here in the country between two warring, and we patriots are stuck in the middle of it. So I don't like when somebody minimizes one story over the other, but it's a must watch. You have to watch that.
Yes, it is, most certainly. Now, John Barbour, he's coming to my program too. We're in the midst of scheduling that right now, so I definitely will have to watch your interview for background on it before he comes on. Real quick, Red Pill Doc says the Patriot Hour on Back to the Future is trippy. Predicts 9/11 incredibly. We are either in a movie or they planned it way way back. I have seen things related to that theory before. Frank or Methods, have you ever seen that whole thing from Back to the Future that predicting 9/11?
Oh yeah, and even all the way down to the Trump Tower and the later Back to the Future stuff. Yeah, it's trippy.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like the actual Back to the Future
dude.
franchise?
Yes, the actual movie. You gotta search for it, or you can just go watch the Patriot Hour after this is over. I know you got your own show later, so it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, there's, it's like the stuff in The Simpsons, like this predictive programming showing, that Trump was going to be president, or things about 9/11 in popular culture showing up before it took place. You got to watch it. It's pretty deep.
Where did you what in particular in Back to the Future references to 9/11 though? Just so I know where to start looking.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of different things, but Methods, go ahead.
Yeah, wasn't there there's a clip that they're playing on the screen or something, and it's upside down.
Yeah,
and it shows the two towers in it.
Yeah, then the Twin Pines Mall.
Yeah, the Twin Pines Mall, and then it changes to a one. I can't remember what it is, but it goes from 2 pines to 1 pine. And that is what. No, there's great videos on YouTube, because all of us were digging on all these things before Q came around, and a Red Pill channel, or people I follow, quite frankly, as much as possible, but we all fell all down those search Illuminati and see what happens YouTube holes. But yeah, no, definitely look into the Back to the Future stuff, because it's definitely interesting. It feels like Simpsons calling the shots on things.
Yeah.
Well, let me throw something out at you guys. Last night I went to go see 1917, and before the show went on, the feature went on, we were getting all those previews, and one of the previews is this new Christopher Nolan film. It's called Tenet, Tenet. And the whole plot of this film, from what I was able to gather from the trailer alone, is that you have an agent of some type being dubbed by a intelligence kind of an apparatus, or some kind of intergovernmental agency. I don't know what it is. And they are tasked with preventing World War III itself by using some kind of time travel mechanism.
Whoa.
Yo, Red Pill, you were going to go nuts just for the trailer. I am really interested to see what story they're telling with this one.
Dude, yeah, I got to see it. I have not heard about that movie. As soon as the show is over, you can bet that I'm going to be watching that trailer.
I watched the trailer and I had more questions than answers, like Frank here.
Well, as you should with a Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, like, my girl and I just watched Inception the other night. She'd never seen it. Incredible. I can't believe that film is 10 years old, too. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm getting older.
Matrix is 20.
Oh my God, they're making a Matrix 4. You realize that? Like,
what?
Yes, Matrix 4 right now. I wonder what the director byline's going to say, or if they're going to be changing the director byline for the first 3. But just, yeah. Real quick, EO2 Dave says, I think Google has control over all of us online, and then on your phone, even offline. I think the Dems are hoping Google will win the election for them. I think that holds a little bit of weight, obviously with the tragic death of Robert Epstein's wife several weeks ago, not too long after he came out speaking about this very subject. They definitely are planning on some type of level of control and bringing out the vote in favor of the Dems. Hey Jude said, something is going on with Bongino. He blocked Patrick Howley. He's covering CPS abuse, obviously, and was instrumental in getting him fired from the Epic Times. I want to say that I follow both Dan and I follow Patrick. I don't know anything about the relationship between the two of them, however. And I know that Patrick had said that Dan had something to do with him getting fired from the Epic Times. But I am not qualified to discuss what happened there. So until something else comes out, I'm not going to really say anything.
None of us have back channel communications with Bongino.
Yeah.
To be able to speak for that. So I don't know.
No. Clarita Belichick joined as a member, and also Shelly Gustafson. Welcome both. Glad to have you both here. So just before you jumped in here, Frank, I was going to show the information on the Biden rally, which is what I used to make the card for the show. You might have thought that was a funeral when you first looked at it, because you got 11 you got 11 people sitting in these folding card table chairs like at bingo night, and they're in some type of living room. Joe Biden, I am just like hoping and praying that Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee because number one, he can't fill a living room in Iowa less than a month before the caucus. Okay. Number two, he's not the swiftest arrow in the quiver. And him and Donald Trump on stage together. Can you guys imagine that? Can you imagine Donald Trump just taking him to task on the debate stage?
Yeah. Honestly, I was, before I got on the air tonight, I was actually more worried about the surging Bernie Sanders. I was going to buy myself a surge protector because I was so scared. Did you saw that little back and forth that they had on Twitter today, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders?
No, what happened?
The president said, I see that Bernie Sanders is surging or whatever, and he goes, I wonder what that means, that he's doing all this stuff. And then, of course, the retweet from Sanders says it means you're going to lose. And I'm saying to myself, first I laughed, and then I asked myself, how the heck, this guy just had a heart attack. What the hell is he? You have to be an evil. I mean, just dude, you must be driven by some kind of spirit, not of this world, to actually still commit to going out and running for president after having a heart attack like this. Only a commie would do this. Only a commie.
Didn't he lose a battle with a shower door too a while back?
Oh boy, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he came out with all the bruise on his face or whatever.
No, I didn't know that.
I just thought that was his annual Illuminati induction black eye.
Yeah, no, but I agree, Frank. But I mean, if you notice, I don't know if you saw that Project Veritas said that they're doing Expose 2020 hashtag Expose 2020 and retweeted Trump talking about the Bernie stuff. And apparently we're going to get some inside footage from the Bernie campaign dropping this week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's interesting in itself. The other thing is there, too, is I don't know. Donald Trump he plays people like a fiddle, world-class fiddle player.
Yeah.
And I think that it'd be interesting to see who he elevates as the Pied Piper candidate. Because remember, another big mistake that the Hillary camp and the DNC and everybody inside the government made, outside of actually trying to manipulate the election itself and all those investigations, was that we saw from the DNC leaks that they actually had this Pied Piper candidacy plan, and Trump was the one they wanted to elevate because they thought he'd be the easiest to beat. So people. Just all that set aside, we just know that they're incompetent. That's why this stuff never works out for them. But it'd be really interesting to see who Trump is going to pick as his candidate, because ultimately I think he's going to pick who he wants to run against.
I would have to agree with you there. I think that it doesn't really matter who it is. I mean, you've got a pack full of losers on the Democratic side. Anybody that he chooses is not going to be able to hold a candle against him. I think that with everything that he's done to kind of single each of these people out with their own nicknames and kind of taunting them along the way, he's already set the stage for just massive humiliation, no matter who it's going to be. But what do you think? Do you guys think that he's just going to go personal on this stuff, or do you think that he'll play it dirty like the Dems would? Like actually bringing out these scandals and stuff like that. I mean, Trump has been pretty good about not going real below the belt. I mean, like the stuff he's talked about has been real legitimate, but he hasn't dogged it to death. But I mean, like let's say it's Liz Warren. Okay, we've already got the Pocahontas stuff. That's super easy. She benefited greatly from pretending to be a Native American. We've got the Hunter Biden stuff on Joe's end. We've got Ukraine. With Joe, it's almost too easy. I mean, all they have to do is get a single investigation off the ground, and there goes every hope and dream.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Methods. Who would you pick? If you had the power to anoint your own opponent, and you're looking at this crop of Democrats, who would you pick?
Oh, it would have to be Biden, because all this stuff that's going to come out, because not only just like anons and investigative journalists that are digging and finding these connections that of all this crime that's going on. All Trump has to do is make a line statement about, well, hey, you need to look into Biden and insert this country here. And all of us will look into it and find some stuff, and it'll break, and he doesn't have to do anything except say one line. And then he can come back and say, hey, well, you need to answer this. So to me, I would love to see him debate Biden, because Biden can't even talk when it's just him with a microphone.
No.
Now, imagine putting him with Trump, even with a slanted host or, a mediator or whatever. I would love to see Biden deal with Trump specifically. Bernie will just get triggered, which would also be funny to see him try to argue with Trump. And Elizabeth Warren is just, she's just a mess. If anything, look up her dancing on stage at her rallies. It's definitely hilarious.
It's almost as bad as Theresa May dancing in Africa or wherever she was. That was just so bad. I mean, the thing about that there too is you guys were just saying about, it's not really Trump style to go dirty. Well, I mean, it's also a different kind of animal when you talk about one dirty over the other. I think the dirtiest that Trump really goes is assigning people nicknames and just pointing out where they've been failures in the past. What's the dirty on the other side? They're trying to create scandal. They're trying to create, I mean, first of all of the money that went into trying to find and create buzz about sexual assault accusers in just October 2016 alone. You want to talk about dirty. I mean, it always just comes down to it that if you actually start hovering over real issues that the other side has, that gets labeled dirty. Like case in point, the DNC leak once again. Nobody ever said, oh, wow, yeah, everything inside of this is actually really bad. Oh, wow, the primaries were stolen. No, they diverted to, how did you get this? What dirty trick are you trying to pull on everybody? Not that we were looking at a horrible truth, So it always comes down to, like, when Voltaire said, before we debate, define your terms. We're always having different conversations, even though we're using the same language.
I got in something interesting to mention, you guys, and this dovetails into what I think we wanted to talk about first officially today, the Huber investigation, or the non-investigation and the exoneration, or be whatever it is, of Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. Well, now that she's been officially exonerated, saying that there's no wrongdoing, at least that there's not going to be charges filed by Huber and his team, I think that opens up the door for Hillary Clinton to actually get into the presidential race. And I would argue that because she hasn't had any charges filed and Huber's investigation's over, how every Democratic candidate is clearly floundering. They have absolutely no chance of beating President Trump. I think this opens the doorway to her to officially enter the race, because we're coming up on the deadlines for filing in pretty much every place where you can register to vote for president or register to run for president. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think there's any possibility of Hillary jumping in the race at this late juncture?
Well, I'll give you my 2 cents real quick on the whole Huber thing, because me and not Space Shot, but Mike talked about it yesterday. The article is talking, first off, it's not completely done. I mean, there's that fine print and stuff, and they spoke to officials and previous and current officials. Well, of course, they're going to call their friends to get those statements. But also, I had RDoc who listened to our chat yesterday and sent this line to me, so I'm going to quote him. I hope he doesn't hate me. He goes, one thing, that WAPO article on Huber is based on not convening a grand jury in Utah. Remember, Huber is a special prosecutor. He reports directly to the AG, not the DAG, and has ability to use any grand jury already convened for any purpose. Huber sat in meetings with Whitaker and Ray for a reason. So he's saying, like, he had access. So as far as him convening his own, he literally could piggyback. And he said, there was another line. He said, 1028 Durham appointed, 11-7 Huber appointed. Like, it really wasn't that long after it. So Huber's literally been doing these things behind the scenes and piggybacking on all these grand juries. So as far as her, like, the term she was exonerated, not so much, because they also even said they're not even done. I don't know. Can Hillary can she still jump in the race? I know each state's different. Nate Kane sent me a list of all the filing deadlines, and we haven't reached them. Now, I want to be very clear. The way that I phrase that is, with the Huber team not
pinning any charges on her. I think you're right, Methods. I think that this has been a head fake the entire time. Huber was the public face. Huber was where they wanted everybody to look, but behind the scenes, it was Durham that was running the grand juries. It was Durham that's actually looking for charges. And any evidence that was collected by Huber, like when they sent that DOJ plane to Little Rock, to the Clinton Foundation, I think all that information was being handed right over to Durham and his people, so that they could, everybody was, watching Huber, checking to see what he was doing, and he's quietly not reviewing evidence. He's not calling any grand juries. He's not really doing much of anything except running a team of a bunch of people so that people are looking and saying, okay, this is where the action's at, but clearly it's not. I think that Huber was a head fake from the very beginning, and John Solomon said the same thing. We've talked about it here on the program before. I think that people were just meant to watch Huber, and there he goes. There's nothing going on there. It's all with Durham.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree on that. And as far as the reporting from the Washington Post about, oh, well, nothing's here. I don't believe that. I didn't even, I know there's a lot of people that threw their hands up in the air. A lot of doomers said, haha, I told you nothing was happening. And I just didn't care about anything because, to be honest, it's the Washington Post. Nothing should be taken seriously, even if it turns out to actually be accurate. I don't care. I mean, that's like, flipping a coin, and it just because a broken clock is right twice a day doesn't mean it's a reliable source. Mm-hmm. And once again, it's a lot more mealy-mouthed language. So as Methods pointed out, there's more to the details there than anything else. And if you generalize where you need to get specific, you can really start spinning anything and have that backup that you said what you meant. But the other thing is too, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, darn it. There was, I was right on the heels of something there, man. I forget now.
That's no problem. Well, just keep thinking about it. But yeah, I think that I think the whole thing is that everybody's been told that Huber was running the Clinton investigation. We didn't even hear what Durham was specifically working on, although we all knew it until very recently, relatively speaking. So I think that that Durham is running the real investigations because he's got purview over a lot more than just the origins of the Spygate investigation. He has no limits on where he can look. I think that any reasonable person can take a look at this and see that no matter where you start in any of this conspiracy, it's going to lead right back to HRC, Clinton Foundation, all of it. It's all connected. We're talking about a criminal conspiracy. We're talking about a RICO Act violation, in my opinion. I think that's where it's all going to end up going. But I think that Huber was just this public face. They gave him a little bit of obscurity, a little bit of secrecy, enough so that places like the Washington Post, places like CNN, the mainstream media, that's where they're going to look. And when they look and they hear that, nothing's going on, you see he was supposed to testify. He didn't. We had those guys, the forensic accountants, coming out and saying that he lost their information. I think it was just a ruse. It was just meant to give these people who wanted to see nothing going on or wanted to report that nothing was taking place something to talk about,
Well, the other thing there too, and I think this is what I had forgotten, is that look at the reporting leading up to the Inspector General's report. I mean, this was an investigation. Obviously, he's not a prosecutor. He's there to gather what he can about what was going on within the DOJ and through the FISA process and all that stuff, and where things didn't go right. We were getting the same exact things. There's nothing in it. It's a big dud. And then, of course, within the first couple of minutes of the document even being public, we have people like James Comey taking victory laps, and everybody in the news parroting each other before about 48 hours went by. Yeah. And everybody in their war rooms probably realized we need to find a little bit more of a moderate spin on this, because there is no way to say that this is nothing. Yeah. So as far as these initial reports on things that have not been made public yet, I just try to keep my blood pressure down and keep busy with other things, because we see what the method is.
Yeah, well, we still live day to day. I mean, we still have to do what we do. News breaks at any point. I mean, think about the Iran thing that happened. That was out of the blue,
Yeah.
real quick. But also, what I said yesterday, and I want to say to everybody, also, what I hear from this Huber news is that obviously they're catching wind about Huber stuff, whatever he has been doing, even if he's just overseeing the 470 different people below him or whatever. That means that whatever he's been working on when it comes to Hillary Clinton, he's wrapping up. So as far as what he's been doing, to me, they're like, all right, we need to go ahead and get ahead of something. So that's all I see. From anything else, it's just speculation. They don't have. I mean, Q even pointed at no leaks. Why has there not been leaks and all this stuff? So now they suddenly have leaks that. It can't be one without the other, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that anything that has come out, it's been strategic. I mean, they want the mainstream media, they want the Dems to feel safe about this. They want Hillary to feel safe because I think the safer they feel, the more likely they are to make mistakes, to continue to act with impunity, and like they're never going to end up paying for what they've done. But I think it's inevitable. I mean, there's no way that this isn't going to end with people actually getting in trouble. I mean, they completely subverted every system that we have in place, every means of justice that we have in place in order to stop things like this from happening. So if these people don't pay, Donald Trump is going to have big problems come 2020. I think that many, many people are going to be very upset. Now, to be fair, it's not his investigation. This is the Department of Justice's investigation. I think that Bill Barr, this is my personal opinion, I think that he sees what's going on and he wants to redeem whatever is left in these organizations, because without that taking place, people are going to lose confidence in everything that we have here, every foundation, every cornerstone of our country. Real quick, EO2 Dave said, have seen an unusual amount of brain cancer lately in the so-called elite. John McCain, or no name, sorry. Who else had brain cancer recently? Don't know. Mr. Jinx says, let's ask everyone to link the Kerry interview to all CNN employees on Twitter. Maybe we can get some more to jump ship. Yeah, had Kerry Porch on Friday night, Frank.
I saw that.
Yeah, good guy. It was a great interview. I had a great time with Kerry. He's definitely going to be back on here sometime in the future. We were introduced by Zach Voorhees. I'm sure that Zach will come back sometime in the near future, but trying to work with them to see if I can get connected to James O'Keefe and anybody else that's come out through Project Veritas, because they've just done incredible work.
Absolutely. And I think Project Veritas has offices maybe like 5 or 6 miles from me.
Oh, wow.
In Westchester, New York. I was at one point I was thinking about going over there and knocking on the door saying hello, but I would that would be really, really something special, and I can't wait to see what's going on, what they have up their sleeve for 2020. But you were saying something before about what's in store for this year, and I do believe that it is very, very, it's imperative that something substantial happens. Something substantial must happen, and there are other things that I was talking about there too. You said the subversion of every real system that we had in place, especially when it comes to justice. And within that department now, we have the access, the doorway to unbelievable spying power, which would make any of our founders shudder. The fact that this kind of power would even be available to in a minimal sense within the purview of the Fourth Amendment. I don't know. How could it ever be? That's the real thing here. How could this system, especially like FISA, ever be within the purview of our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, especially since it's a federal apparatus?
Yeah.
Because you can't say, well, the Fourth Amendment says you need to have a very specific warrant. You have to name the person, the place, the reason, probable cause. Everything has to be put out there. You can't put that in line with what we're seeing in FISA, knowing that FISA only works retroactively because it is collecting everything. The NSA is collecting everything, every keystroke, every unsent message we ever sent. You know, I mean, you can't tell me that there's any way that you can spin this as constitutional. So I don't want reformers. I want this gone.
Yeah, we touched on that before you came on. I personally believe that the FISA court is a violation of our right to privacy. There's no way that you can do that and collect that much information and spin it as anything good. I mean, there are obviously times when it has helped, but I think that there are other ways to do it. And I personally see it's the government either being lazy or just, overstretching. They're trying to get as much information as they can. I mean, information is power. And that's one of the reasons why channels like ours are such a danger to the establishment, because we are now helping to control the narrative in a way that's different from the things that they want out there.
Well, it's back to the conversation of how they've created legal crimes. They set up this apparatus as such, as long as certain people sign certain documents, then under the purview of the law that they've been building, essentially, before 9/11, but definitely with 9/11, they were able to get away with all this stuff. So it's got to be to me, I agree with both of you. It's got to be burned down and built anew in such a way, because I mean, like how Frank was explaining it, I mean, on top of just pulling every keystroke, everything, the 2-hop rule. I mean, you've got so many different people being pulled into that apparatus that's been deemed legal under previous administrations, and we're dealing with that mess now.
Yeah.
I mean, one way that I would love to actually see FISA implemented is in the unfortunate case of Paul Krugman. That's something that I really wanted to talk to you about, Frank, because when I saw
as if his economic theory wasn't poor enough.
Right. The internet will have no more impact than a loaf of bread or something stupid like that. Paul, he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, and I think in this case he doesn't have any absolutely no idea what he's talking about either. His IP address was somehow compromised, and it was downloading CP and his security company called him. He's got, how many people have a security company that monitors your internet traffic and tells you when something nasty is being downloaded on it? I tend to think that Paul was approached by some law enforcement officials, and he's trying to get out there and spin this ahead of the time so that he can control the narrative himself. But
I wonder how many like Nigerian princes have screwed him over with their gold.
Yeah. When the son of a deposed Nigerian prince comes to you for help, you help. Hey, wait, let me ask you something, though. This is the thing I don't understand. Is he saying that CP was being downloaded by his IP being hacked and it's being stored somewhere else, or he found CP on his computer?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that he found it on his computer and then notified the authorities, because I think if that happened, I think any reasonable person would be like, oh shoot, I gotta do something about this. This is not good. No, he was notified by his internet security company saying that it was being downloaded using his IP address. Now, the way an IP works, it's only in use in one place. So that means that, it would be going to his computer, or I guess maybe, on his Wi-Fi perhaps. I don't know. But, he came out with this. He told everybody, and he said that he was getting QAnon. Now that's a new use of the term.
Now.
Yeah, never heard of it used that way. And he says, okay, this is extremely weird. I received an email saying that a payment has been received into my blockchain wallet, but I don't have a blockchain wallet. Presumably, there's some kind of fraud going on, but what? So this was back in December 5th. So he was setting up the story as far back as December 5th. And then he said the Times is now on the case. Okay, the New York Times, that bastion of journalism,
they'll get to the bottom of all of this real quick.
But this is because it's a time, because he works with the Times, right?
Yeah.
So and the Times are taking this up in like a corporate investigation manner. This was with a work computer. Where does that come into? The Times is investigating.
I tend to think that he was going to have the Times write an article about it to try to determine, who was trying to smear his good name. But I think that maybe he paid for some bad stuff using his blockchain wallet and was trying.
I want to know, like, even if you find it on your computer, you're like, oh man, this is getting plugged there. You even get your phone call from your your backup. Who goes to Twitter and says, hey, 4 million plus people that follow me, I happen to have child pornography on my computer screen right now? Like, who does that?
Morons.
Seriously, I saw a couple of, because I was thinking these things in my head about this, and then I saw in the comments people were mirroring what I was thinking. And I think one of the top comments at the time when I saw this tweet get on out there was, this seems like this obviously is not the advice a lawyer would give somebody. Go out there and make a preemptive public disclaimer on Twitter. This seems like something a Hollywood publicist would tell you to do.
Yeah.
I said, no, this is not legal advice. This is and you want to know something? On the other hand, I can also see how a person would freak out if this really is true. And didn't somebody try to plant CP on Alex Jones's something of Alex Jones's recently?
They caught it on his phone on a live stream.
No, that was
on the phone.
That was something not CP. I don't even know how to say it. It was a gender bending type thing. Like a male to female bodybuilder type thing or something.
We'll call it TP for this.
Yeah, TP. There you go, TP.
Gotcha.
Oh God. Matt Taylor said, "What's up from New Zealand? Thanks for all you do, RP and Methods." Frank, to be fair, that was before you were on the air. So
it's all good.
Michael Bachensky says, "If you find Methods is a great mind in investigative reporting, press 3. That's why people were pressing 3. Definitely a great mind." But, no matter how you shake it, I do feel that this is Paul Krugman trying to get ahead of the story. Let's say that if something comes out showing that Paul Krugman's been arrested, then, he can say, it was a frame-up job. I was QAnon. And then people are...
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. One point that needs to happen with this is a lot of people were discussing it, Anons too, on the boards. What if all these people that are getting busted, we know that, this child prawn or whatever we want to say here so we don't get kicked off, like all these different things that come to light. It looked like he was trying to frame the Q movement for putting the stuff on his computer to then say, hey, we're trying to bring down these corrupt people. So we're planting evidence because they're bad people. And so I'm curious to see if this is not the only time it happens.
Yeah.
Where QAnon is a verb in that case. You've been QAnon. And they're trying to spin it as a way as we're a hacking activist group that, is trying to take people down and such. So I'm curious to see how this plays out, or if he's just an idiot for getting on Twitter and doing that.
Here's some more information from Business Insider. He says that New York Times columnist Paul Krugman tweeted Wednesday he received a phone call indicating that hackers downloaded CP on his Wi-Fi network. Krugman later said he realized that the phone call, which he thought was coming from his computer security service, I don't know what that is, was likely a scam, and that this was actually appeared to be a case of phishing, wherein scammers pose as an authority or service provider in order to trick people into disclosing their personal information, like calling from India and saying that your Windows license has expired and they need you to give them your credit card number or your master admin password so that they can get in and check it out. But here's the thing. If somebody called me and said, CP was on your computer, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. That's not possible, okay? Because that's never anything that I would download, and nobody knows my password. But if somebody called somebody who had actually done something nefarious like that, told them that perhaps they were going to be exposed for having done it, then he might just be scared enough to go ahead and try to get ahead of the story because he knows that there's a possibility that something like that could actually happen.
Yeah, because anybody, and I know that there's plenty of ways that you can have information of yours compromised in the digital age. But if you've been on the internet, even as far back in 1996, 97, when we got our first AOL accounts, when we got our Juno accounts, it was just like, that these phishing accounts, you don't give out. There's never going to be a situation that the IRS asks you for your social security number.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a situation that any of these platforms email you for credit card information. I just don't understand. And this guy is supposed to be giving world advice on money and in the modern age, and we're going to believe that he falls for 1995 phishing scams still?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
It's interesting, though. I've never heard of a CP scam, though. I've never heard of people calling and saying that we found that on your computer. So that's a new one to me. I mean, lots of scams like this, but CP seems oddly specific to Paul Krugman. Very interesting. Let's see. Radar New Jersey said, quite frankly, it's a triple threat. Bases loaded, no outs. That's right.
I like those odds.
Bottom of the ninth or top of whatever it is. I don't watch baseball. Jennifer Small says Wiener tried the same defense originally regarding the phone pics. That's right. Yeah, except those are difficult to fake when you're laying in bed with your 5-year-old son and sending pictures to a 15-year-old girl. That's difficult to fake. Zoso Dude 77 says, I can't believe all the Oregonians in the chat tonight. Yo from Medford, fellow Anons. Thank you for that. And Dana Finkler, I like that one, Frank. Dana Finkler says, Methods, is it true Hillary has a clone? Methods, do you have any information on the infamous Hillary Clinton clones?
I don't personally. Obviously, thank you for your super chat putting me on the spot.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I will say the 9/11 of her having her little seizure into the van situation, and then the person that showed up, and waved or whatever, obviously wasn't her. But I don't know if I'm being punked because of the whole cloning thing, because I don't necessarily buy all the way into cloning. I know they're trying to do it. I'm not saying there's clones walking around, but there are people that look very similar, with a little bit of cosmetic surgery. Not cosmic. I don't need to go down that road either.
It's coming.
Infinity Gauntlet surgery.
Yeah, no joke. I'm going to be, sent blue chicken cult stuff real quick. I don't want to say that they're just like straight up clones that happen to be that size, that age, and time to do that. But there are people. I mean, even Hillary had that lookalike person that got paid to go to birthday parties.
Body doubles, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'll buy into that more than the cloning, and yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're body doubles. I mean, I've seen many different pictures of many different body doubles. They're similar, but when you put them all together, it's obvious they are different people. I personally find that more likely. Not to say that, I don't know at what point the U.S. government or private entities are at in cloning human bodies. And, I mean, I do believe that a clone, in order to move around, it would have to have a soul. I mean, there would have to be something, more going on there. It couldn't just be, a soulless automaton. But, I mean, I've heard a lot of different things. I've never, ever gotten any actual information on it. There was this guy a couple years ago, I'm sure you guys remember this, where this whole cloning thing was huge. This Donald something or other, he was out there saying that he was a clone and he was raised in these cloning centers, and you started seeing a lot of these videos popping up of people claiming to also be clones that were in the same cloning center as him. Tequila came out and said that she was a clone.
Man, I remember that time.
It was a wild time. Those are the golden days of YouTube. But try to find a video like that, it's impossible. I fell asleep watching TV last night or this morning or something like that, and I was watching one thing. I woke up and the rest of the playlist was all Fox News. It's like I'm about to unsubscribe from Fox News and just say that I don't want to ever watch any videos from Fox News again, because those are the only videos that get suggested to me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, I want your 2 cents on this cloning. Don't make us go down.
Yeah, dude, get into it.
On cloning, I see, that's the thing. I don't know. Actually, every year, every year I start up this book called The Intellectual Devotional. Okay. And it's 365 lessons, daily lessons that cover everything from religion to art to history and all that. And in every year, I know, what is it? It's page 4, 4th day of the year, cloning.
No doubt.
And it talks about how, Dolly, you remember Dolly, the sheep from 1997?
Oh, yeah.
And but it just pretty much goes on to how it all happened and how all of these cloned animals usually end up in bad situations. They don't live as long, they age quicker, whatever it is.
You've got like broken telomeres or something.
I'm telling you, this what you brought up about soul and the essence is something that I often ponder on my own show. We had brought this up. There was an episode of the Higher Side Chats I was listening to from maybe a couple of months ago at this point. And the guy that Greg Carlwood had brought on was he was into AI, and he was studying AI for a couple of decades to figure out whether or not there could actually be anything that is a really conscious computer, or if everything really just has to be a product of how a creator like us programs it to be. I mean, is it really a thinking, feeling thing that is consciously observing its own world and is making judgment based on something outside of the parameters we set for it? Is that actually ever possible? Because in that case, I mean, the pocket calculator you had in high school is just a primitive form of artificial intelligence. It's going to compute something for you quicker than you can yourself, because it was designed to do that. When it comes to cloning, I think of things that way too. I always wonder, how can you really, really supplement that essence? I don't know how you can supplement the essence. I'm sure that you can grow a liver somewhere in a petri dish. I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, they're working on that for sure.
But I just don't know with the cloning, man. As far as doubles, absolutely. I mean, we all saw there's like a small battalion of Saddam Hussein doubles.
Yes.
So
there's a great movie about his sons. I forgot his name. Like, was it? I can't remember. But the guy who plays the Winter Soldier was in a movie about the son of Saddam Hussein, like Dodi or something like that. But it's a true story. He found this guy that looked a little bit like him, got him some plastic surgery, and used him as his double. It's man, I wish I could remember the name of that movie. It's so good, though. I highly recommend everybody see it. But I mean, it's a great point you bring up, Frank, because I mean, like, computation versus consciousness. I mean, where is the line? Because clearly, these cloned animals, they're alive. I mean, like, they're up and moving around. I do believe that animals have a spiritual essence. Maybe at a different level than what people do. But I find that all life has value.
Well, what about this?
Yeah.
What about because obviously we don't know the real mechanics of how a soul finds a body as its home. Everybody has their own theory. There's plenty of people I know who believe that we choose our families, we choose to come down, and then other times, who knows? Maybe it's just once you create a viable host. Maybe, I don't know how it appears there, but I do also give credence to those out there who believe that whether we're talking about these cybernetic, half human, half cyborg entities, or even the idea of cloning a completely organic human body, I'm totally open to the idea that these are vessels for spirits, for anything else that could be actually transferred into that vessel. If there's people that know how to do things like that. You guys remember when the last royal baby was born? It was right around the time that Barbara Bush died, and the big theory on the internet, the message boards at that point, was somebody had prepared a new body, a royal body for Barbara Bush, and there was a soul transfer.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's an interesting one. I like that.
I remember that topic when that happened, and that's the only thing. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, no, feel free to go down that rabbit hole. I remember. I can't argue with the idea of a vessel being created and then a spirit type thing taking control of it. That to me is like, okay, I'll listen at that point, because I have, being a preacher's son, as many of you guys know, I've seen possession happen. On a demonic, to where I can say, call me crazy all you want to, as much as you already want to call me that for being in this movement. I've seen possession take over a body before. I've seen it do things it shouldn't be able to do before. My family has, being multiple generations of missionaries and stuff. And with that said, I can't argue with the idea of the vessel, but to me, it's where I get stuck and I just move on from the argument with myself is, where's the soul committing to the okay for the entity to control it? What is powering that thing to begin with to move forward? Because then that to me is like, okay, thanks Hollywood for putting that idea in my head. And that's it.
Catherine Epler just said The Devil's Double. That's what it's called. The Devil's Double. Very, very good movie. just a couple years old. Let's see. George Shuri said, quite frankly, Hillary's clone certainly sleeps alone. Keep up the fire, y'all. Thank you for that, George.
What's up, George?
Red Pill Doc says, Dolly the sheep was cloned in 1997. Do you really think the deep state stopped there? That was a mammal just like us. Absolutely. And you just got to think about, places where there are not human rights things in effect. So China, I'm sure they got a whole army of clones over there in China, perfecting them over there. E36M Jeff Kennedy says, I am unsubscribed, chose block channel, and report all Fox News videos as spam, and it's still always the next video. Doesn't work. It's a scam.
I've heard that already, man. Like, people were having that problem because instead of it suggesting to, let's say, me on my Roku, something similar to what I was watching, it'll just immediately jump to the most recent Fox News clip. That's just what they do. They just put you in that bubble.
Methods, what else do we have on the docket for tonight? What do we want to talk to Frank about?
We were going to talk, we had up in the air to talk about Iran, because, I mean, it's still kind of out there being talked about.
Yeah.
But Frank, I mean, we got 15, 16 minutes left. I mean, what do you want to talk about, bud?
Oh, man. Well, with the Iran thing, you know what I've been doing, and I shared this last night. I've been going back to even ancient Greece with this thing. With the Brian McClanahan show, I was listening to that, talking about he was asking why Iraq has become so important, and getting on down up to the modern age and looking at what's happening right in this very moment, it's really something else, because what you're seeing here, and there's so many people that have different opinions on this, and I think that right off the bat, it was this downed plane now that made me wonder what the hell was going on, and I really do believe it was a mistake. I want to believe it's a mistake, because the only people who could have shot this down intentionally, I don't know why the Iranians would. Do you guys have any understanding on what I'm just trying to hash out motives here, because they're obviously taking responsibility.
Yeah.
They know that this is an awful PR disaster, and it has already inflamed what was going on, bubbling on the street level over there for the last however many months. And even back in Obama's administration, there was a little bit of a grassroots movement of throwing off the regime. So I'm looking at this from a wowee. What is at play here? And the plane is really, that's what it comes down to.
Well, there's a couple different theories here. I mean, I had a contact in the U.S. government who said that initially they didn't think it was a missile because there was no sign of a warhead exploding. Apparently, the missile body exploded. We saw shrapnel on the outside of the fuselage and the wings, but the warhead didn't explode. We saw pictures of that here on the channel of the warhead on the ground. But the plane itself took off an hour late. Obviously, tensions were high with this, thing going on with the United States. The missile base that had hit the Iraqi missile base was like in the flight of that plane, and everybody who died on that plane, was Iranian, or at least had dual Iranian and citizenship with another country.
And very young. A lot of very young people.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that it was full of bad actors. It was full of nuclear scientists. I don't know. I haven't been able to track down any of those people except for the unfortunate Ukrainian stewardesses who also passed away on that plane. But Julian's Rum had a theory that this was a targeted hit by somebody in the Iranian military, somebody who was a deep state actor. But I mean, we don't know. I mean, I don't see a legitimate, actual good purpose for Iran knowingly shooting down this plane. I do tend to think, and this is again what I was told, is that this was just a trigger-happy lieutenant, somebody who, shot off the missile thinking that there was an American plane coming in to bomb Iran and wanted to, be a hero, and instead killed 176 people. Just a tragic thing. Also the way that Iran is acting and trying to cover it up, making sure that, we don't get the black box. We already know it was a missile. We already know, what happened. They are taking responsibility for it. They're saying sorry, but it's not doing any good for them.
No, it's not.
With this taking place. Methods, what do you think?
No, I tend to agree. I can't exactly put, the method's signature on any of these theories just because it's so, like y'all said, it's a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
To have that happen and say, oh, it was a human error. I don't know how their military is set up. It very well could have been a moron over the thing and, just went ahead and did that. But with that said, I mean, that's a lot of blood on their hands, and none of it was, from what I read, was American. It's a mess. I don't know why they did it. If it's a distraction, we know they don't really care for the life itself. So if they needed to do it, or maybe thought it was a good move to distract, I don't know what to tell you, but nobody's can, blame them for being like the brightest people in the world when it comes to their military decisions.
Well, on the subject, I'm gonna pull up this video of the Iranian military. So you go ahead and keep going, Frank. But I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm going to show you an example of what the Iranian military is up to.
I think I know what you're going to play too, but and this is what I'm talking about. The first thing I thought was, well, who knows, but with all the evidence on the table, it has to be just gross incompetence. Just because, number one, this is an evening where we now know that the Al-Assad air base, our troops were safely sheltered. Mm-hmm. There had been forewarning. There's going to be missiles in the air tonight. So that's just pretty much it. The only missiles in the air were the Iranians all night. It wasn't going to be a volley back and forth. There was only one actor that was out there doing their thing that night. And then all of a sudden, an actor that seemed to be taking all the proper precautions to make sure nobody actually got hurt from all of the ballistics that they're throwing out there. So then for 180 innocent people to die, they did everything they could to save face and get out from this little tit for tat.
Yep.
Without having some bigger problem on their hand, and this happens. I had a couple of questions as to what the hell, but
yeah, no, I take the same thought track there. I mean, if Iran wanted to actually kill people and do a lot of damage, then they could have. But instead, they warned us. They took the tweet down. Dang it. It was a hilarious video of the Iranian military doing a training exercise and showing off their prowess to some major top brass there, and they had very, very bad martial arts skills.
When they were kicking the vases,
yes,
and they lost to vases.
Yes,
kicking them. Yeah.
They couldn't even break.
It was bad.
I saw it. I said, "Oh God,
so bad." I can't believe they took the tweet down, dude. That was so good. Dang it!
It's so embarrassing. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm still sticking to my Sopranos theory on all this stuff. That the Iranians actually wanted Soleimani out of the way. That he had become a hindrance. I'm sticking to my theory, and like I have a couple of people that I actually want to get my buddy Alex, who worked at the DoD for a long time, and he was part of a couple of really important committees on out there. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq, and then moved into the Pentagon. And I want to get him back on the show to talk about Iran, because I think that's going to be controversial in itself. But looking at this and asking all these questions, I don't know, man. I don't see how Javad Zarif can come out and say that these missiles that were lobbed over the course of that evening were and especially with the buildup of this guy was a number 2 in Iran, the Soleimani. He was a number 2 in Iran. He meant everything to the regime. He meant everything to the Ayatollah, whatever it is. All of that being played up just for what they had, the way that they packaged the story for us. For Zarif, the defense minister, to come out and say that these strikes had been conclusive and proportionate. I said, oh, no. There's not going to be any war. This was it. Supposedly, this guy meant everything to you and your regime. But conclusive and proportionate was bombing an empty airfield after telling everybody to take cover? No.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on this one. I reported on this too, and then Gateway Pundit came out, talking about the same thing, because we had those reports that all of those Soleimani loyalists were being rounded up. There was something like 80 different guys in the military that were taken out, and obviously, Q, we've been told before, back channels are very important. Iran was going to become important. I think that the Iranian president, which would be different from the Ayatollahs and their part of the government, gave the intel to the United States to allow us to take Soleimani out. We also took out somebody in Yemen, if I'm not mistaken, on that same night. And then slowly the Iranian government goes and rounds up all of his loyalists, get rid of him. I think that Soleimani was in danger of committing a coup and taking over the Iranian regime himself, because he would have probably had the support of the Ayatollahs there.
Well, then think about this. This is the other thing that gets me, because obviously that would mean that it's like, a little bit of a nod from the regime out there, the mullahs out there, and the United States. We're going to take this guy out. Why would you do that? Well, like I said, maybe he had become an impediment to a lot of things. Maybe even though he had been very important to them since with the revolution itself, maybe still he had become this guy where, here we are in 2020, and we're looking at our own survival and doom in the face. And what are we going to take? If all it takes is getting rid of this guy, then people will do really crazy things to survive, to keep their money coming in, to keep their livelihoods, their scalps.
Yep.
But then so he's out of the way. Perhaps with him out of the way, the position for the Iranians becomes a little bit more of a softened negotiating position.
Exactly.
But then you have, right when you think, well, maybe things softened up for the regime, 176 innocent souls die.
Yeah.
And now you still have revolt in the streets. So it's like, what really happened? And there's a key missing.
Well, I think that the Iranians themselves, obviously, they want good relations with the United States. They are not interested in maintaining the regime under the Ayatollahs. So I think that whoever it was that shot that plane down was probably somebody who's loyal to this current regime, or maybe Soleimani himself. And the whole bombing of the airbase, that was just a public display for, these hardliners in the government to show that they were willing to take action against the United States as a response to Soleimani. Obviously, they went and told the Iraqis, so the Iraqis would come and tell us, and then we get everybody off the base. So publicly, we've got, the Ayatollahs are fighting back against the United States, even though nobody died. They still sent a bunch of missiles. And then Trump is, smart enough to know, because he's in that back channel, I think, with the Iranians or people in the Iranian government, to not continue to keep up this level of escalation. Somebody says that they retweeted the training video to me, so let's go ahead and see if I can get that pulled up, because that's
an interesting point there.
Yeah.
Because if they did take Soleimani off the table for Iran, and we already know over the last couple of years how there has been large mutinies inside the IRGC itself.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody on the inside knew that, then this is all conjecture and just being writers, how would we write this movie out? If somebody on the inside, where we already know there's split loyalties inside of this country, knew that the mullahs gave up Soleimani, who had become a figurehead to himself, maybe this was a way of saying, fine, you want to take out our guy, then you're still going to have a revolution on your hand. And they just took down a passenger plane. That could be possible too.
Right. I mean, you'd have Black Hat. I mean, their own form of Black Hat over there in their movement or in their military as well, just like things that we deal with in real time with the intelligence agency and, Atkinson and all the stuff that we're dealing with the ICIG. We'd have the same problem, or they would have the same problem over there. So it very well could have just been, their own version of the deep state that was, committed to Soleimani. That's like, all right, fine, let me push the button. Let's take down this plane.
Got a couple of thank yous I have to shoot out here. Katie Forston said it was a plane full of bad actors, moves and counter moves. EO2 Dave said they take down planes to get to one person. Obviously, we know that's true. Josh from Detroit said, what up, Frank, RP78, and Methods. Great show tonight. Thank you for that, Josh. Casey Anon said they had it set to auto acquire and fire because we have stealth. Can't wait for a human. Okay, that's actually a good point. Kim, and with the fact that it was an hour late, I mean, that could have been why they never shut it off, because they were expecting it to be a bit sooner. Kim said that he retweeted or she said that they retweeted the training video. I can't find it, Kim. And then E36M3, Jeff Kennedy just became a member. Thank you very much for that, Jeff. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't see that video. If you could just retweet it and put my name in the tweet, then I would be able to see it, but it's not popping up for me. I don't know what the deal is. Really wanted to show it. Well, you guys, it's 6:58, so I think we're going to go ahead and close out the program. It's never long enough, Frank, when you're on the program. Methods, obviously, it's never long enough for us either, buddy. But, Frank, I want to say thank you for coming here tonight. What do you got for us tonight?
Oh, tonight? I'm not live tonight, man. This was it.
Oh, I thought you were going to have something else going on after the show.
Oh, no, I have. I do have a premiere of a interview I did earlier on in the week.
Yeah.
If anybody, I know that Lionel has a show tonight or something like that too. But if anybody wants to get some really great review of how it has to do with Iran, how everybody is trying to nitpick using the War Powers Act to talk about whether or not what Donald Trump did was legal or illegal. I did a great interview with Chris Ann Hall earlier on in this week that really talks about the War Powers Act and why it's another thing that eventually needs to go altogether. And that's going to be live on the channel in a couple of minutes, I think, around 9 o'clock or something like that. But other than that, thank you for doing such a great show, for maintaining such a great, tightly knit and well-maintained channel. And Methods, you're the man. Thank you for all of the love on Twitter. I love talking to you, and everybody at home. You've been so great. I can't wait to start another week.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And thank you, as always, Methods, for co-hosting with me. Thank you, Frank, for doing much the same, man. You are a big inspiration for me. I love your program. I love the quality of your guests. It's always a good time, and I love hanging out with the people in your chat, too. You guys, you've got a great audience as well.
I appreciate that.
Right, let me slip this in before we end the night. Quite frankly, I will always push his channel. The people that are in this chat right now, the Quite Frankly crew, I recognize a lot of you. You guys are great. Always check them out. What's the time that you're on Monday through Friday? I don't want to get it wrong.
7 to 9, Monday through Friday.
I tune in personally unless anything else is going on in the world. I will listen to Donald Trump before, quite frankly. Don't hate me for that.
All right.
But with that said, I fully endorse them. I know Red Pill does too.
Absolutely.
Always check them out. Political Orgy on Twitter.
Yep.
I'm M2 Madness. And thank you guys again. This show was great. Awesome time.
Yeah, and I also want to say thank you guys because what you guys, you do a lot of really nuanced digging and a lot of nuanced thought and investigative work in the way that you craft everything. For everybody out there thinking how do all these different personalities really fit together, I like being a little bit more of a comedic break from everything, also culture, history, as well as the current events. That's why I think that we play off each other so well, because I think with all the hard work that you guys do, I can do a little bit. It allows me, people like me, to do a little bit more of the soft stuff. So it's fun for me.
Absolutely. All right, guys, don't forget to tune into SS76. I don't know if we should say his name or not, but our good friend Mike and our friends over at Patriot News. All right, guys, as always, you know that I am Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.
All right, fellas. Good night. Oh, damn it.
All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.